Let's discuss. Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another video, and today I'm going to be doing my first video for Mouth for War. We did one of their new singles on stream, and they're actually a local band for me, and when we did, it was Saturate Me that we did on stream, which is taken from the record I'm about to talk about. I fell in love with this band, revisiting the singles a lot, especially in the last week at the time I'm filming this, which I should be posting the video the day after filming, so tomorrow should be when this goes up for me. For you, you're in the future. So anyway, Mouth for War is incredible. They've got an album that's about to drop. If you're watching this, it should be out already. It's called Bleed Yourself. They released this last single right before the album is about to drop called Captivated. I wanted to make a video for this specifically since, like I mentioned, I don't have any Mouth for War on the channel yet, but I do plan on doing a full album video. Of course, I will have already heard this track we're about to check out, as well as Saturate Me and Under the Gun, which were the other two singles off the album. I have secured a ticket to their album release show next month. I am confident that this album is going to be something I love. We'll see where it plays out on the list, and like I said, I'll make a video for the full album that will come a little bit after this one, probably the following week or something like that. So Mouth for War, all of their promotional links, any sort of merch or physical copies of the record you can get, I'll link in the description. If you happen to be anywhere near Colorado in November towards I think it's the 25th or something, and you're interested, I would highly recommend grabbing a ticket to the album release show. I think it's going to be sick. So all that being said, I'm going to stop talking. We are going to get straight into it. Whew. Mouth for War, Captivated, let's discuss. Another track straight into the playlist, 3 for 3 off of this record. The expectations at this point are very high. They you know, it's an under 3-minute track, but it feels very complete. It doesn't feel like it left much to be wanted other than the rest of the album, knowing that that's coming. But in terms of its, you know, its own identity, the song on its own, this will be something that I just find myself revisiting a bunch more. I thought the lyrics were really neat on it. A lot of the lyrical content, when we get into a lot of the stuff that we listen to on the channel, there are reoccurring themes and stuff, but I thought the take on this was really cool. Some of it feels positive and almost like a love song, and then the other part of that feels like the, you know, the longing and the darker side to that. So I thought that was really neat. The visuals are fantastic on this. I thought that as the last single, it's really, you know, having one drop the day before the album comes out, having the visualizer that's really neat to go along with it. And this feels a bit less intense to some degree. It's still an intense track. It still has the intensity that I've really enjoyed from this band, not only with the new singles, but going back in their discography. But it also feels like it takes on a bit more of a melodic standpoint. The lead work on this track, incredible. There is a lot of my pull towards this band comes from the vocals. I love their vocalist. He has a lot of the sound that Matt from Boundaries has, but they also just have a much different feel. As not, you know, if you're not someone who listens to heavy music and you hear the two, maybe you wouldn't think so. But in terms of people probably like yourself who is watching this video, and myself who listens to a lot of stuff like this, there are a lot of differences between the bands, but there is just so much overlap with the delivery on vocals, and I love Boundaries. I love a lot of what they bring. I'm not gonna go off on a tangent about a different band in this video though, but instrumentally they bring that same intensity that I feel their vocalist does, and, you know, for their vocalist being such a big draw for me, I feel their instrumentals come and match that, which is a big thing I talk about when a band does that. Sometimes you'll hear something that's carried by something else. I've talked a little bit about that in stuff I filmed recently, actually, where, you know, maybe it's the guitar work in a song, or specifically the vocals that are, like, you know, on this incredible level, but things fall short otherwise. Whereas everything I've heard from this band, especially with these newer singles, it feels like everything comes together really well. So for this being an under 3-minute track, there are drops, plenty of them. At the end, before that last drop, I honestly thought we were at the end of the song, having looked at the runtime before I played the track, but it feels like a very full, I think it's close to 2:45 or something along those lines for runtime on this track. And for me, it's not a problem at all. It doesn't feel like I was mentioning before, it doesn't leave anything to be longed for other than the album that we know is coming. But in terms of its own standing as a song, it's going to be something I play a ton. The lyrical content is neat, which I believe I already mentioned. Lead work, those are the things that stick out to me the most. I'm trying not to talk too much about the band as a whole at this point, because like I mentioned, I'm planning on doing a full album video where I'll go more into detail about that stuff, and we'll talk about the album as a whole, as I won't have heard it at that point, where now I have not. So though my first thoughts on this track, I'm so hyped for this record. It's got a lot of traction with these 3 songs. They've been 3 for 3, like I said, and that leaves a lot of expectation for the record. But I am, after listening through their discography the last few days and stuff, getting prepped for a release day, I definitely think it's something that they're capable of and have done before, though this does feel like it could potentially be their best release after listening especially to Saturate Me so much, but the singles in general, the 2 singles, which is a number I really like. I haven't looked at the full track list or anything, so I don't know how many tracks are on the album, but usually 2 to 3 singles is what I enjoy for an album. I like to have a good amount of new music to listen to on my first run. Sometimes I'll even save singles if there are a lot of them before the album, if I'm able to. Not for a band like Event Anime or something like that. In that case, I wouldn't. But if there is, you know, especially like over half the record in singles, not really something I love. The way Sleep Token did it worked this year because everything felt really close together, and it wasn't over the span of like a year and a half that it came out. It was relatively quickly, and then there was a space and then the album. So that worked for me, but this is ideal. I do need to look at the full track list and see how many songs, but regardless, that's the number that I really enjoy. I hope my hopes for the new record aren't that extensive because of how happy I've been with these singles. They haven't left me feeling like I'm wanting to see this feels like a bit of a different track. Like I mentioned, the guitars in this track, the lead work, some of the parts that feel a little bit more melodic than the other two tracks. That would be something I would not at all mind seeing on this record, but they have that sort of angry, pissed, I think in terms of vocal delivery and such, a lot of what Matt does in Boundaries and the lyrical content around Boundaries, this band is fully capable of. They just vary a little bit with what they're talking about. So, high expectations. I'm expecting this to end up on my list after really taking a look at these singles and my interests and their discography. I'm very excited. So you'll see another video for Mouth for War. At the time this is going up, probably the following week. Filming the video will happen the day that the album comes out, but I've got a million things filmed right now, and also editing a full album video, getting timestamps and stuff is just a little bit more of a time-consuming process without having an album in advance. So some days you'll see me post right away. That's usually when I have it ahead of time. So all of that being said, nothing about this track that I would want to see differently, just very much excitement for the record tomorrow. So let me know in the comments if you're listening to these singles, if this band's new to you, what your deal is with Mouth for War, and what you thought of the singles if you've listened through them, or if you've only heard this track, what you thought of this track. Just let me know in the comments. As I mentioned before, any sort of support links, social media, merch for the band, all of that information, as well as the video I used in the reaction portion of this, will be linked in the description. Make sure if you enjoyed this, as I say in almost every outro, drop by the original video that Mouth for War uploaded. Just drop a comment, a like. That stuff goes a long way in terms of the algorithm and getting more eyes on a band that you enjoy. So all that being said, my link tree will be in the description as well. That has any link you may need related to my channel, including Patreon, Twitch, and the Discord server invite link. Patreon, we are going to be drilling even further into 2023. I've posted a lot of polls, kind of getting a feel for things this weekend. I am going to be going through all of the results for the polls, making things a little bit more difficult. Probably if you had to vote out one of these songs for 2023, which one would it be? One of these albums, stuff like that, rather than which one is your favorite, so we can kind of start eliminating things to gather our full list, which I'll be making a full patron-only 2020, well, not patron-only, it'll be the consensus of my patrons, what they pick for the full list from voting. We will make one full list that I'll make a video about at the end of the year. I make playlists for Tier 3 that I update monthly with 20 to 25 songs, hopefully that you've not heard before, based off of the For Fans Of that you give me for your playlist. A bunch of different stuff that I offer. It's all listed out in the tiers. My Twitch channel is also there. Right now it's been on a pause, but I'm hoping to get that going again in the coming weeks. I had an unplanned 2-week break where I wasn't here or able to film in my setup, which put me back quite a bit, but I am back to filming, obviously, as you can see. So with that, I will be sorting out my end of the year schedule. We'll be doing the weekly live streams that I've always done for requests, but in addition to that, I'll be doing some more music related streams, some related to 2023/end of the year stuff, and some just other music related things. So if you want to be notified when I go live, see what sort of stuff I'm doing on Twitch, feel free to give that link, or the Twitch channel in that link, a follow. And lastly, the Discord server is where the community is based for my YouTube channel. We've got a lot of really wonderful people in there, music lovers, music-related conversation, and conversation completely unrelated to music as well. So if you're interested in joining, come in to hang with the homies. That will be there as well. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.